Everybody hates tourist trap restaurants. They have long lines, an overpriced menu, and food that somehow keeps getting worse. But here's the thing, a lot of these places weren't always considered tourist traps. At one point, they were spots only the locals knew about. So what happened? In this video, I'm visiting the most famous tourist trap restaurants in America to see if any of them still have a little bit of that local charm, or are they all just too far gone? So I made it to New York, and behind me is a restaurant I'm sure everyone's heard of. Katz Delicatessen was established in 1888 by Jewish immigrants. It's the city's oldest continuously operating deli, and also might be one of, if not, the most famous tourist trap restaurants ever. Believe it or not, despite how many times I've been to New York, for some reason, I've never actually been here before, so your boy is pretty excited. Let's go see what it's all about. So despite being over 130 years old and feeding generations of New Yorkers, their reviews tell a different story, with people complaining about the long lines, overpriced sandwiches, and calling it nothing more than a waste of money. Okay, as expected, this place does look very cool. The walls are lined with photos of presidents and celebrities who've been here, memorabilia from throughout the decades, and even this sign which points out the exact table featured in the iconic scene from the movie When Harry Met Sally. Thankfully, it seems like I chose a decent time to arrive, because although it is busy, it's not like crazy packed in here. So the way Katz functions isn't like your typical restaurants. There's no host, no waiter, and no table waiting for you. Instead, you're handed a paper ticket the second you walk in. I think I'm supposed to pick one of the lines and then wait my turn. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll figure it out. I'm also holding onto this ticket like my life depends on it, because apparently, if I were to lose it, I would have to pay a massive fee before I could leave. Can't lie, I am very overwhelmed right now, but at least I know what I'm getting. So every tourist trap on my list has an item that made them famous, the one locals fell in love with. Therefore, my only rule for this video is that I must order the dish that started it all to find out if it's still a banger or if they're just scams now. Hey, how's it going? Can I do a pastrami sandwich on rye with mustard? Yes, please. After placing my order, I handed this nice man my ticket so he can mark down exactly what I got. Thank you. Whoa. I got my food. Now the next challenge is to find somewhere to sit. This is gonna be difficult. Ooh, found a spot. Okay, never mind. Are they leaving? No, they're not. Okay, never mind. Hold up. This is perfect. You know if someone's sitting right there? No? Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Ladies and gents, we got a table. That was crazy. Here we have Katz's iconic pastrami sandwich served with rye bread, mustard, and a side of pickles. What's crazy to me is that this monstrous sandwich has been Katz's signature item for over a century. That's a long time. According to what I could find online, every piece of pastrami here is brined for 3 weeks, rubbed with a secret spice blend, smoked for 3 days, boiled for 3 hours, then it's hand carved right in front of you, which sounds like a fairly labor-intensive process. Now, I don't eat pastrami sandwiches like ever, but in my opinion, this does look very tasty. The issue is, before I came here, I found a few New Yorkers on the street and asked all of them a very important question.
Do you think Katz is a tourist trap?
Do I think it's a tourist trap? Well, I went there many years ago, and yes, a lot of tourists go there.
Allegedly, according to the people who do go there.
It is a tourist trap.
Yeah.
Don't go.
Katz is definitely a tourist trap.
By most people's definition, a tourist trap cannot have good food, so that makes me a little worried, but I'll just have to see for myself. Yo, what were those New Yorkers talking about? This is good. Going into this, the biggest complaint I saw, besides the long lines and how expensive the sandwich is that the pastrami would be dry. I'm not sure if they're just having a really good day, but that is not the case right now. The pastrami I got is nice and tender, it's super juicy, it's got a nice peppery crust, which is essential for all good pastrami. I was a little worried the sandwich would be too rich since there are literally no other toppings, but the mustard really helps cut through the fattiness. Once I was done eating, I made my way to the cashier, thankfully still in possession of my ticket so I could pay. Lunch is complete, and first things first, I'm gonna give that pastrami sandwich a solid 3.8 out of 5. It was honestly a lot better than I thought it'd be. However, that price really knocks down the score a bit. Oh my lord, that was expensive. With that said, it is now time to answer a very important question. Does Katz still have that local charm, or is it just a tourist trap? Despite opinions from a few New Yorkers, for me personally, I think they still have a little bit of that sparkle. Yes, it was expensive. However, the clear difference is that everything from the chaotic ticketing system, the location, and the fact that they still cure their own pastrami shows that it hasn't changed entirely since tourists showed up. This is very nice to see because it does give me hope that maybe the other restaurants I'm
done visiting. Won't be so bad. Let's get out of here though. I got a plane to catch.
As I make my way to the airport, I just want to take a quick second to let y'all know how much I appreciate all of the support on the channel lately.
And as a thank you, I was actually able to partner with Whatnot, the #1 live stream app where users can buy, sell, or auction off a wide variety of items for a huge giveaway worth over $1,000. I'm giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 with the brand new Pokopia game, AirPod 4s, plus whatever I'm able to shop for on Whatnot in the next 60 seconds. First things first, I want to get another Pokemon card for this giveaway because who doesn't love Pokemon cards? Here we go, and boom, graded Charizard slab secured. Now let's see if I can win a card in one of the auctions. This is literally a pristine 10 Pikachu card. Okay, hold on, I need to bid on this. It says I'm winning, come on, come on. Oh! Got it. Got the Pikachu card. Whatnot literally has everything from sports cards, toys, Legos, Funko Pops, shoes, coins. There's even snacks and candy. Also, speaking of candy, let me try to win some for this giveaway too. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I have absolutely no idea what this is, but it looks good. Boom, candy secured. And you know what? I'm gonna bid for even more. Okay, I think I've got a pretty good haul for this giveaway. So let me tell y'all how to enter. All you gotta do is sign up for Whatnot using my link or by scanning the QR code on screen and spend some or all of the free $15 credit you get just by downloading the app. You can also enter for free by commenting your Whatnot username in the comment section of this video, and if you do both, you'll get 2 entries. Again, make sure to scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description and spend some or all of the free $15 you get,
along with commenting your Whatnot username,
for 2 entries in this giveaway. Alrighty, y'all, so I'm now in Los Angeles, California, in front of Pink's Hot Dogs.
This Hollywood landmark was founded in 1939 by Paul and Betty Pink. They started by selling hot dogs from a small cart in a dirt parking lot, and over the years, this establishment became one of the most famous places to get a hot dog in America.
Their story is amazing, and the founders definitely came from humble beginnings, but nowadays, it's become a must-visit tourist spot since so many celebrities have been seen here. Too bad for them though, I don't care about any of the celebrities, and instead, I just want to be impressed by a really good hot dog. So let's see what they got.
So normally on weekends, the line for this place is ridiculous. But since I'm here on a random Tuesday, it wasn't bad at all.
I literally hate waiting in lines more than anything, so this is perfect. The key is to go during non-peak times.
And because it wasn't crowded, before ordering, I decided to check out their infamous celebrity wall just to prove how pointless it is. However, I quickly realized I may have been wrong about not caring who's been here, since right in front of my eyes, there was a signed picture from the one and only.
I cannot believe Miss Piggy's been here. This changes everything.
Along with Miss Piggy, the wall also had photos of Michael Jackson, Guy Fieri, and even Kim Kardashian for some reason.
I will admit, that celebrity wall was cooler than expected, but I'm not gonna let that sway my opinion. Time to order.
So what can I get for you?
I placed my order and the total came out to just over $26, which I do have some opinions on, but more on that in a second. First, I have to find my table.
Ladies and gents, the glizzies have been acquired. So over here we have their Martha Stewart dog. It comes with relish, onions, 3 strips of bacon, chopped tomatoes, sauerkraut, and sour cream. And of course, a trip to Pink's would not be complete without getting their world famous chili dog.
This is 100% the item that put them on the map, but it actually began as a way for Betty Pink to stretch ingredients during the Great Depression. Apparently the chili recipe they use has stayed the same for over 60 years, which I think is pretty cool.
First things first, I want to try the Martha Stewart dog.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have crazy high expectations for this one because even though there's literally a photo of Martha on the celebrity wall, it's hard to imagine someone like her pulling up to this spot just for a hot dog.
Okay, so there's definitely a lot going on in this one, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. Even though there are so many different toppings on this hot dog, the first word that came to mind when I tried it, unfortunately, was the word creamy, and that's not necessarily a word you want to associate with the hot dog.
Flavor-wise, it wasn't too bad. The tomatoes and relish add a nice bit of acidity.
You got the nice salty bacon, but I'm not sure I can get over the texture. With the weird hot dog out of the way, it's time to go back in the past and try the item that actually put this place on the map. It's chili dog time. From what I can tell, this is a very, very standard chili dog. It's got a hot dog, the chili, and some diced onions. Very simple, straight to the point. Cheers. Okay, so right away, I definitely like this a lot more than the Martha dog. No doubt about it. Flavor-wise, it definitely is your typical chili dog. There's some smokiness in the chili, which is nice. But weirdly enough, I didn't notice this detail in the Martha dog because there was so much going on. But because this one is simpler, I can actually pay attention to the bread. And sadly, I don't love it. It's kind of hard, not that fluffy. And because there is a 50-50 hot dog to bun ratio, you can't really ignore it. I am gonna eat the rest of it though, considering I haven't eaten anything all day.
Once I was done with that glizzy, I took a second to enjoy that nice California breeze before making one last stop inside to take a photo with Pink's extremely creepy mascot. This is literally what my sleep paralysis demon looks like.
Alrighty, y'all. The glizzies have been gobbled. And before I get into things, I just want to point out, there is now a line. Thank God I got here when I did. Food-wise, I'm gonna give Pink's chili dog a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever eaten per se, but it was eh. Now, as for the restaurant itself, look, the history is fantastic. I love the founder's story. I think it's spectacular. However, after experiencing this place for myself, I'm gonna have to say, at this point in time, I think Pink's is really just a tourist trap. I think what really got me was the price, especially considering the food was nothing special. And now that I see a line, there's no way I would wait in that for what I just consumed. If there are any Pink stands in the comments, I apologize, but that is my final verdict. So let's hop on a plane and head to the next restaurant.
Alrighty, y'all. So I'm now in Fort Worth, Texas, and behind me is Risky's Barbecue.
This is the oldest barbecue joint in Fort Worth, established in 1927 by Polish immigrants Joe and Mary Risky. It actually started as a small grocery store and eventually grew into a full-blown barbecue empire with multiple restaurants, a steakhouse, and even a burger spot.
But rather than visiting their original restaurant, I'm at their most famous location, located in the Fort Worth Stockyards.
For those unfamiliar, the Fort Worth Stockyards once was a working cattle ranch, but started becoming a tourist destination in the 90s, which coincidentally is right around the same time Risky's expanded into this area too.
I want to know if them being here means they're just catering to tourists, or are they just serving good food in what happens to be a great area? Let's go find out.
Now, I know people might say me not going to their original location isn't fair, since food usually is better at the OG spots.
However, the quality of Risky's food technically should be the same regardless of where you get it from, because supposedly they still smoke all of their meats at the original location, then bring it to the other restaurants.
I have never been to another barbecue spot doing something like this before, so I have a very hard time believing it'll actually be good. However, there was a lot of people waiting in line to eat here, so maybe I'm wrong.
It's gonna be about 10 to 20 minutes.
That's fine.
And a name?
Dylan?
Dylan?
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thankfully, it didn't actually take that long, and I was able to get seated in about 5 minutes.
All right, so I finally got a table, and honestly, the restaurant itself does look very, very cool. It's very Texas, to say the least. However, I don't know if it's because I'm sitting outside, but y'all, every few minutes, there's a whiff of something stinky. I don't love that.
Now, food-wise, Risky's Barbecue is known for 2 things in particular. Their all-you-can-eat beef ribs and the brisket.
Honestly, all-you-can-eat beef ribs for $19.99 sounds like a pretty good deal, and although there is no shot I get my money's worth, I'm gonna get it anyways. Thank you so much.
As I waited for my food, it was pretty cool to see everyone out and about in the stockyards, but man, every once in a while, that terrible smell kept coming back. Thankfully, I was able to get my mind off of it when my fried pickle appetizer arrived.
I'm quite surprised. That is a pretty dang good fried pickle. Nice and crunchy, crispy, perfectly fried. If the barbecue is even as close to as good as these fried pickles, maybe this place isn't a tourist trap after all.
Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, my food is here, and as expected, I ordered way too much.
Here we have Risky's all-you-can-eat beef ribs, which comes with fries, toast, a jalapeno, quarter pickle spear, and the ribs themselves. And on this tray, we got Risky's chopped brisket sandwich, along with some mac and cheese. First up, let's try these beef ribs.
Now, I am not a barbecue expert by all means. However, I do have a bit of experience at some good barbecue places. And the thing is, based off looks alone, this does look a little dry. That's definitely not a great sign, but as we all know, looks can be deceiving. So let's give it a shot. Cheers. Yep, that's dry. I was really hoping these would be good, especially because the last time I had beef ribs at a different barbecue place, those were delicious. Unfortunately, these don't even compare. Not only are they dry, they're also pretty bland.
And in case y'all think I'm exaggerating, look at that, no moisture whatsoever.
Although nowadays, most people do come for the all-you-can-eat beef rib deal, Risky's brisket is actually what put them on the map. More specifically, this chopped brisket sandwich.
Back in 1927, when Risky's was still only a grocery store, Joe and Mary Risky began selling these homemade brisket sandwiches in the neighborhood. Somehow, these got so popular, locals from neighboring towns would pull up just for lunch.
Once again, another amazing origin story. However, after Pink's, I've learned not to get my hopes up. Hopefully this brisket sandwich can speak for itself. Cheers. Yeah, I don't love that either. I promise I am not a barbecue snob. This just isn't good. Somehow, the brisket is like overly salty, even though the beef ribs were super bland. I don't know who is managing the salt levels, but they're not doing a good job. Apparently all the food here is seasoned with their like special Risky's dust, along with being smoked over an open wood fire, which in theory, you know, should be good. I'm not tasting any of that. The one nice thing I will say is that the brisket is fairly tender. It's definitely not as dry as the beef ribs. I guess that's good. And just in case y'all think I'm actually being a snob, I'm not actually eating alone. We got my girlfriend Carrie here and her best friend Maddie. They actually have a channel together where they read books. What did y'all think of the food?
Well, my tummy hurts, so I don't know what that says. It was really, really, really salty.
No bueno?
No bueno. Mid.
I feel really terrible saying this. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to rate this famous chopped brisket sandwich a 2 out of 5. I'm sorry, I don't like to be mean, but based on that rating, I'm sure y'all can guess what I'm gonna say about the restaurant itself.
History aside, since I'm judging this place solely on the food, I must officially deem Risky's a tourist trap. After paying the bill, I wanted to explore a bit of the stockyards because even though I grew up in DFW, for some reason, I've never been here either. And I was told I couldn't leave without attempting a Fort Worth tradition.
I'm never doing that again. On to the next restaurant. Can you believe I've flown to another city for this one video? This is crazy. For the first time ever, I'm in New Orleans, and beside me is the world famous Café du Monde.
Arguably one of the most famous restaurants on the entire planet, Café du Monde opened in 1862 as just a simple coffee stand in the French market.
Café du Monde is actually the first famous eatery I grew up knowing by name, because as a kid, whenever my mom would make Vietnamese coffee, the go-to coffee beans are from Café du Monde. If you know, you know. I am like so excited to check this place out, while at the same time, also a little nervous because the reviews are somewhat mixed. I really don't want to be disappointed, but there's no turning back.
Now, rather than meeting with the host to be seated at Café du Monde, instead, they work on a first-come, first-served basis, which means you have to look for an open table yourself and secure it before someone else does.
The issue is I literally could not have chosen a crazier time to come here because I just found out that today is the beginning of something called French Quarter Festival. That means this place is going to be busier than it usually is. Is that a table? Nope. No, it's not. I'm so overstimulated. I'm getting Katz flashbacks, and that wasn't even this bad. Is that a spot? That's a spot. I'm going. Alrighty, y'all, I finally found a table, which means thankfully the hardest part is finally over. Things are about to get so much simpler because Café du Monde is really only famous for one thing, and one thing only: beignets.
It's literally the only food option they have on the menu, and when Café du Monde first opened, these beignets were actually called French market donuts. The whole idea was just to give locals something to eat with their coffee while they shopped for meat and produce nearby. It never was meant to be this touristy destination, yet 160 years later, they're pumping out over 30,000 of these beignets per day, with people flying from across the world just to try them.
Yeah, good order.
Side note, I would like to take a second to give a shout out to my waitress. She was very nice.
Okay, everyone, my order has been placed, and even though Café du Monde is packed right now, because they are so used to this, my food should not take too long to come out at all. Oh, wow. Come on. Có cái này,
The total came out to $14, and while normally Café du Monde is also notorious for being cash only, you can actually pay with these beignet bucks found in their gift shop next door.
My food has arrived, and oh my word, these look beautiful. So here we have Café du Monde's world famous beignets. Also, because it's early in the morning, your boy had to get a nice cup of cafe au lait because this supposedly pairs perfectly with all of that. Based on first impressions, these look absolutely gorgeous. They are perfectly golden brown, piping hot, and completely covered in powdered sugar. Y'all, I don't even know how to feel right now because as a kid, I always imagined eating beignets while drinking coffee here, and it's finally happening. Anyways, that's enough talking. I want to try these before they get cold, so without further ado, oh man.
I am an extremely happy boy right now. Wow. These beignets paired with this cafe au lait hit the spot. The beignets themselves are perfectly fried. The exterior is nice and crispy while the inside is still soft and pillowy for that perfect texture. I was a little worried they would be too sweet because of how much powdered sugar is on here. And trust me, there's a lot. But when it's paired with the cafe au lait, the bitterness from the coffee and the sweetness from the beignets balances out in like a nice medley. I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm saying medley because of, you know, the music in the background, but wow. I don't even know what to say. I'm gonna keep eating.
Now at this point in time, you may think I'm exaggerating. There's no way beignets from an infamous tourist trap could be that good. Truthfully, you may be right, and I could be caught up in the moment.
Say hi to my video.
Regardless, I'm actually starting to think tourist traps might not be that bad. Maybe the food isn't the best, and yes, it'll probably be overpriced, but these places still have so much history, and that alone might make it worth the visit.